One of the reasons that Kurama is such a fascinating character in Yu Yu Hakusho is due to his pre-existing reputation amongst demon and spirit world. Known as the legendary bandit, Kurama once ran a group of thieves who went around demon and spirit world stealing items in order to grow in power and strength, which is a very different Kurama to the one we get to know from the early chapters and episodes of Yu Yu Hakusho. The Kurama we are introduced to is a somewhat unassuming student working alongside the far more sinister Hiei and Goki. As a reader and viewer, we get a real sense of the threat he poses as a character due to his confidence in squaring up to both of his former allies. And this is obviously done on purpose. When Kurama leaves the group and states that he's done with them and he'll be taking his treasure with him, the Forlorn Hope, a mirror that can grant any wish on a full moon, he's met with some resistance, but ultimately he just leaves. And I mean, look how imposing these characters are, especially compared to Kurama. Later, after Yusuke has killed Goki, Kurama appears to Yusuke to explain his actions and purpose in stealing such a powerful item. As it turns out, long ago, after being nearly killed whilst on a raid, Kurama had fled as a spirit to human world and possessed the fetus of a soon-to-be-born baby, which is before it acquired a soul of its own, so I think that means it's not an ethical issue. Anyway, this is done with the goal of avoiding detection and slowly growing in power over time. It was only after an incident at the age of 6 where his mother was badly injured in an accident as a result of his actions did he start to understand and empathize with humans to the point that he no longer wanted to be anything but a real son to his mother. He tells Yusuke this story, Yusuke believes him, and Kurama, knowing that the price of using the Forlorn Hope is the life of the user, makes the wish to cure his mother and save her from whatever illness she's currently dying from. Yusuke, being the hero he is, also jumps in and offers part of his life, and the two of them survive and the wish is granted. Kurama, still alive and his mother cured, owes Yusuke a great debt, and the two will later become allies and friends for the remainder of the series. Did I say later? I meant immediately. Because the next time we see Kurama, he comes to Yusuke's aid and saves both him and Keiko from Hiei. Once Hiei is defeated, Kurama reveals that he's going to lay low and recuperate whilst waiting for his upcoming trial in Spirit World, because he's being judged for all those crimes he committed. The results of this trial, as we see later in the Saint Beast saga, are that Kurama and Hiei are to be used as agents of Spirit World and assist Yusuke in apprehending demons in lieu of serving actual prison time. And with the addition of Kuwabara, this completes the formation of Team Urameshi. It's also worth noting here that from this point, we get the beginning of the friendship between Kuwabara and Kurama. I love these guys. They're just my favorite characters, what can I say? After the Saint Beast ordeal, which I'm not going to get into and might leave for its own video, Yusuke has built up a reputation as someone to be taken down amongst other demons, which two very weak demons attempt to do by disguising themselves as Yusuke and Kuwabara and then starting fights with other gangs so as to make them a target and wear them down physically to the point where they can be killed. Yeah, this may be the most cowardly plot I've ever heard of. Anyway, the reason I bring this up, the important bit is that in this little side story, Hiei and Kurama are both aware of this plot, and whilst Hiei is spying on the pair with his Jigan eye, Kurama manages to just outright sneak up on him, which, when you deep it, is a feat in and of itself, and highlights just how powerful and crafty Kurama is. I mean, just look at Hiei's face. He is completely shocked that Kurama has managed to sneak up on him at all. Kurama is largely inactive in the following Yukina rescue arc, but still receives Togoro's invite at the end to join the Dark Tournament. I'm guessing in the post. After this, off screen, he helps Kuwabara in his training ahead of the tournament. Training, I say training loosely. I think it's from this point on that Kurama fully steps into his role as an exposition tool. He always has little bits of information or can deduce and explain what's been witnessed for the sake of other less knowledgeable characters, Kuwabara and Yusuke, and also us, the audience. This effectively makes him the brains of the group and makes his future fights a bit more cerebral. So if you're after interesting fights where the bad guy is outsmarted, then Kurama is your guy. And that's not to say he isn't just outright powerful in his own right, because he really is. It's worth remembering that this whole time we have known Kurama, he has been in a human form with access to only a limited amount of his demon energy. And to skip a lot of the Dark Tournament, we only get to see the return of his true demon form during his fight with Urashima. Urashima? The tonal shift we see between the polite and kind human Kurama and the dark and vengeful Yoko Kurama is stark and presents to the audience just how ruthless and formidable Kurama once was. This is where the legends of him grew from and why he was so renowned throughout demon and spirit world. Later on, Suzuki? Another demon gives Kurama a potion which can help him revert back to his Yoko form in order to defeat Team Toguro. All of this is to say that whenever someone is looking to challenge Kurama to a fight, he is almost always underestimated due to no longer being in his full-fledged demon form all the time. But just because Kurama is outwardly charming and human-like, doesn't mean that he's not capable of some seriously dark shit. In the chapter Black Saga, Team Urameshi are trapped within Amanuma's territory. Being a young kid with a passion for video games, his territory allows him to bring said games to real life and inflict those rules on others. He takes the role of the Gamer King and challenges the group to a best of 7 games played on an arcade machine. Kurama, being the genius that he is aware of the game and deduces that should the group win and defeat Amanuma, it will kill the Gamer King. The worst part of this setup being that Amanuma, an 11-year-old boy, wasn't even aware that this was a possibility. He had no clue that he could actually die in his own territory, and when faced with that realization, he breaks down, begging not to be killed. Kurama, being the once cold-blooded tactician he used to be, informs Amanuma of this in order to make him lose focus and finally win the game, ending the boy's life. His cold demeanor and matter-of-fact response to his death further highlights just how different this current iteration of Kurama is compared to his previous demonic version. When Kurama is faced with the option of sparing a boy's life or saving the world, he has no issue putting the rest of the world and his friends first. So when the fight with Sensui begins again, and after Yusuke's second death, Kurama has absolutely no issue with transforming back into Yoko as he chases Sensui through the portal to Demon World. This transformation as well can also be explained by the fact that Kurama is now used to transforming, plus with all this demon energy flooding in from Demon World, it's like second nature, reverting back to his original form. Fast forward now to chapter 157 of the manga, and Kurama has received a message from Yomi, one of the 3 kings of Demon World, and, as it turns out, an old compatriot of the legendary bandit Yoko Kurama. Having fought Sensui in Demon World, Yomi became aware of Kurama again and observed his high power level, which was unlike anything it had been previously. He invited Kurama to join him in a unifying expansion of Demon World and wants Kurama to be his number 2 guy. Kurama accepts, and it's soon revealed as to the real reason he was also invited. Around 1,000 years ago, when Kurama was still the legendary bandit, Yomi was his second in command. Being brash and unpredictable, Yomi was deemed a risk, and whilst on a solo raid, he was attacked and blinded by an unknown assailant. 1,000 years on, this assailant currently resides in Yomi's estate in not too great a condition, and his final words reveal that the one who sent him after Yomi was a silver-haired fox with the most dreadful, ice-cold eyes. After caving in the assailant's head, Yomi explains he has no resentment and that his blinding actually allowed him to become the king and person he is today. However, if Kurama chooses not to stand with Yomi, then an accident may befall his human mother back in Human World. Stuck in this situation, Kurama has no choice but to pay for at least some of his previous crimes by working for Yomi for the foreseeable future. Since meeting with Yomi, we learn through some dialogue that Kurama feels like he's losing control over his original Yoko self, and his current self is fading, and the two are becoming a single entity once again, which all in all is a good thing by my view. After eventually betraying Yomi with the help of Yusuke's proposal that everyone just has a big fight to decide who's in charge of Demon World, pretty sick. After this new dark tournament, he makes a conscious decision, which is not unlike Kuwabara's, go watch my video on him, to essentially choose to live a normal human life. He doesn't go to college and instead goes to work for his stepfather's company. Now, the anime goes to some lengths to show Kurama rejecting Yoko by the end. However, the manga doesn't do this and instead just lets the concept fall away. We don't see or get a mention of Yoko again, and we're left to assume that Kurama is in control. So if you choose to believe in the manga ending or the anime ending regarding Yoko Kurama, then let me know, as I'm sure there's going to be some divide between the two. But personally, I choose to believe that Yoko and Kurama are pretty much back to being one entity again. I don't see a reason why Kurama would reject that part of himself, and if anything, having access to all of his previous power and his current power means that he's standing as one of the strongest demons around. And whilst he's living his human life, what's to say there won't be any threats in the future? And as we know, Kurama is well known for his forward thinking and planning, so it would only make sense that he keeps a card like Yoko Kurama up his sleeve. So in writing this, I think I may have lost the original point I was making about Kurama being a character with name recognition within YuYu Hakusho. But regardless, I think I got that across, and I threw in some extra information nuggets and analysis along the way. Very light stuff though, I've got to say. I think that perhaps my main point here is that anybody can change.
Everybody can change!
But seriously, Kurama shows throughout the series that he holds the lives of his family and friends higher than anything else and is willing to make some of the hardest decisions anyone could make. Whilst the original Kurama, I'm sure, would be able to make the same decisions and probably with some ease, his motivation has changed from doing so to seek power and strength to doing it because he wants to preserve life and keep people that he loves safe. So yeah, so if you did like this video, then please do like and subscribe. I'll always appreciate you for it, and I'll go ahead and catch you in the next one. Oh look, you can watch, maybe it's this side. On one of these sides, you can watch my Kuwabara video and also my Yusuke video. Check out a playlist, it's probably in the link below, to just some YuYu Hakusho stuff. Oh, bye. I hate being self-referential, that was just the fucking worst. Never again.